live stream. I hope y'all are excited for some new points because I know we are. We're excited for some changes, and we're here to talk about them. We got our good buddy Ryan from the Brotan playing on Mastercrafted as well. He's joined us today. Phil, as always, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to see how this edition is going to kind of map out. So I think we can determine a lot about this first data slate change of how Games Workshop's going to manage the rest of the edition and specifically these first 3 months, right? Like that's what I care about most is I want to see the tempo at which GW is going to implement changes for armies that are underpowered and overpowered. And then I want to see how they're going to balance this out when they have a rapid succession of intent behind like upgrading, these armies. So right off the bat, I am very pleased with how they've managed this data slate so far. Um, there's some things that I wish they would have done better, but overall, I am pleased with it. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan, as a the resident orc player who has been enjoying some good times to start at least? I feel like you went pretty unscathed, all things considered.
Yeah, I agree. I mean the 10 points for Pain Boys, 10 points for boys. Like we knew that was coming. They were way too dirt cheap. As soon as they released the points, I mean, even orc players were like, "That's too cheap for 20 boys." So I mean, yeah, and then the truck going down a random, catching a random buff again. So like, I mean, it's fine. I think the points are still sitting great. I mean, I tested out a list yesterday that was 75 points under, and it's now 15 points under, and it played just fine. Um, so I think orcs are still sitting in a great spot.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I guess let's maybe add a little more structure to this, Phil. What kind of format you got in mind for talking through some of this today?
I really want to focus on the winners and losers of this first data slate. So I want to talk about the things that you should be preparing for in this next month. So now we have a quote unquote, hopefully safe month to really go after the changes that GW has put in front of us. So I really want to go after the winners and losers. And then also, I just want to start off with just some of the universal changes that we've seen with GW in terms of things that they're implementing in this player pack or sorry, in these downloads because there's a couple universal rules changes that we saw um, that are going to have an impact in the game as a whole. So first and foremost, we'll do the universal rules updates because I think that's relatively straightforward. Um, all of it comes down to stratagems. So uh, wording for stratagems for reducing cost, stratagems that can be used more than once per phase, and all of those things. They really just uploaded that again. Those are all things that we've been playing with previously. And then stratagems that add new units to your army that is still updated in the same. So everything regarding those stratagems has stayed the same. Teams has gotten an interesting event companion update. When I say interesting, I mean like validation to what we were already doing, which is generating command points. The majority of TOs were ruling that you could never gain more than one. The problem is the rules actually didn't allow that. It was just every TO and every individual with common sense knew that GW was never going to go back on that. It was just an incorrect wording on their part, a missed portion on their part, and it was never going to go back to that. And then attacker and defender. They specifically said that in teams, the individual who was the defender for the first 5 rounds got to select the board that they wanted to be on. That was never going to be the case as well. That would make it very interesting, but I didn't think it was going to be the best way to do things. So they changed that in the teams packet. So overall, general rulings, something that we expected for a lot of the stuff, but it is nice to see it translated quickly.
Yeah, just a little bit of cleaning up there. I think a lot of the stuff was also covered in the Tacoma FAQ that was
Yeah.
released as well. So it's nice to just kind of see some of those fully integrated now. They also, it seemed like they went through and updated a lot of abilities. There were questions about things that go into reserves and then come back onto the board. Can they do it turn one like Gaunt's Ghost? That all got cleaned up. It's just in there specifically on their data sheet. So it's nice that those things are cleaned up. So there's going to be less questions because yes, as the TO a few weeks ago, there were a lot of questions about stuff. So it's nice that we're getting at least a lot of the baseline stuff covered.
So let's go over. We'll go back and forth. I'll let you all decide because we've had all day to digest, and I may or may not have been every once in a while checking this at work, going through each detachment to see who my favorite winners and losers are. So I won't. I think I know Ryan's biggest winner. I think I can already tell, but I'll leave that for him. I have a guess. I'm curious if I'm right. But I will say first off, for my first pick for biggest winners, um, Ryan messaged me like right when it came out in the morning. He's like, "Hey, did you see Death Watch for their detachment? Black Spirit Task Force got Purge the Foe." I was like, "Yes, I did. I love that." You know what else Death Watch got for some obnoxious reason? Like doesn't make any sense. Is we got access to a lot of the things in the land speeders, even though they went up 10 points. I really like the fact that they are back in, and they're a tool that we can use. So at 105 points, I think they're huge winners for us, just being a new unit. Aggressor squads going down, I don't really care about, but the biggest winner for me personally, for some of the armies that I play, them getting Purge the Foe, I really like.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, all you, Ryan.
Yeah, as soon as I saw Black Spear getting Purge the Foe, I was like, well, Phil's dancing. um, but yeah, I mean, all the points buffs for World Eaters, man.
Do it.
Yeah, I just was like, man, they're hurting. Berserker Warband can just lose real fast. The points don't feel right. Everything was just really bad for that army. And then they were like, oh, just global buffs, and we'll clean up some ambiguity for the Demonkin detachment. And yeah, I I think we're going to be seeing a lot more World Eaters on mid to mid high tables.
Yeah. Those points decreases across the board is substantial.
Yeah.
So that's very very nice because that always has been the problem is they were just too elite and stuff, and you couldn't afford to take the extra trash pieces to trade early. So that is nice to see. I want to talk about a big loser for a minute, and I think maybe the biggest loser is probably Thousand Suns in terms of getting toned down. No more Hex Warp with anything else. No more Sekatar robots getting taken with Hex Warp. That spam is gone. It is now just you can't do it. Hex Warp is 3 detachment points. So while Sekatar is still nice as an additional thing to throw in there, the combo is gone. And so I think that's we're seeing in effect their ability to mess with various different things to nerf armies. But not only did they do that, they got slapped with multiple 10-point increases on various things. Defilers went up, Predators went up, Terminators went up. It's just they had so many things that just climbed in points. So they're going to be feeling it, but they're still an army that ignores cover with a lot of stuff. You can tax Scarab Occult Terminators. They're still going to be sticky as shit to remove. Like, it's not like T-Suns is bad, but that spammy, ridiculous robot build of just here's 12 robots, suck it, that's gone at least. So that's nice.
Yeah, they were one of the meta menaces for sure. They were at the top of the meta. They were causing plenty of issues for plenty of players. I do think they had a relatively low skill floor. Like it actually took a lot to run an army like that. But they had all the tools for sure. And they were incredibly lethal, and it could be a lot of a problem. Okay, Ryan, what's up next? You got a winner or a loser?
I think so. Definitely a loser. CSM. I was like, they're having a hard time right now, and then they also got a nerf on all the things that were holding up their codex. The what's his name? Huron. that guy.
CSM, yeah.
Yeah, just all the CSM with Huron. He was holding it up. He was making them still pretty scary. And then he got nerfed. So now they're going to be taking even less trash pieces and even less trade pieces. I think we're going to see a big shift on how CSM plays. And I mean, they were like what, a 48, 47 or something like that % win rate. And I think it's going to go down if they're still trying to play the same. So I think they're going to have to look into some new ways to play CSM and new ways to get a little innovative. Otherwise, they're going to struggle even more.
Yeah. Trey did hit me up literally that morning with a "I didn't hear no bell" meme. And I was like, honestly, Trey did ask for it. He said that he wanted to get hit because he wants to consistently run CSM, and he's very happy with them at the moment. So,
Yeah.
it does get much harder, right? They kind of got walloped. I don't necessarily know why. I didn't think they were necessarily showing things like in the meta that they were dominating to an insane amount. I just think they had a lot of tools, and I like that for an army when they have a lot of options. So
Yeah, I agree. I don't know why they hit him. I mean, it feels like somebody lost a game to CSM over at GW and they were like, never again. Like,
Yeah. In the chat, we got Bobong saying Blood Legion is in a great spot. I mean, Corn Demons are pretty good. Phil, I feel like you know how good they are. Had a
yeah,
run in with them this last weekend.
Yeah, I played into a Corn Demons list, and I got taught a whole bunch of things that I didn't realize changed that are now changed. One of the most important being the range for the Blood Surge is now 8 inches, which means start, end, a normal advance or fallback move within 8 inches, they will Blood Surge into you. That means that with the 2-inch coherency, or sorry, 2-inch engagement range, means they could very easily get within range of you. And it's kind of terrifying because those blood crushers are big enough, like the units are big enough that even if they wrap you and you have enough movement to get away, it means you are never getting far enough away for the blood crushers to not get back into you. Thankfully, it's not actually a charge, so it's not like they get to mortal you again. But like, man, that is not fun. To for some of these armies that are not as mobile. To try to deal with something like that. So really, really good list. And then the Cavalcade of whatever it's called, Cavalcade of Chaos, means that they can all fall back, shoot and charge. They don't really shoot, but fall back and charge means that it doesn't matter. Like you can't tie them up. Even if they stay in combat with a durable unit, they're just getting out and then they're going to go charge something else. So like, yeah, and they have +3, or they have 3-inch engagement range on one of them, and they're gonna have +3 to their charge on another, right? Like that's pretty good, Ryan. You know about those Corn Demons? Like it seems solid.
it seems very solid. I haven't played any games with true like Blood Legion. But I mean, I'm looking at the updates and I'm like, I might have to play this a little bit. I mean, didn't the blood crushers go down a little bit? Not in this data slate, but the first one.
So when they released, they had gone down. They went back
Right.
up 10 points on the sixes. They're still 95 for 3, but they were like 180 for some. They were cheaper when you took 6, which does not make any sense to start with because they only get better the more you take in a unit. So yeah, they went back up 10 points per 6, but like that's negligible in a list because they didn't really take any hits anywhere else. Beast and Nurgle went up 5, but like you have plenty of scoring options.
Yeah.
So
And it's like you just take out an enhancement or just alternate one unit and you're like, oh, my list didn't really change. Yeah, they're scary. They're so fast, and then with the character that buffs them, that points at a unit, gives them +1 AP and damage and strength. I think it's crazy. It's gonna be a crazy world, and from what chat's saying, yeah, it's gonna be great into orcs. It's gonna be really scary for orc players.
Yeah, because they have the impact mortals when they go in. It's on a
Mhm.
4-up and D3 per. And it's not every. I thought it was every model with an engagement range. It's not. It's every model in the unit. So like you
Yep.
just touch with one, and then everyone else gets to do it, and it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
that's not great.
Yep.
And then they
Yeah.
have a good pile in. The bases are big enough, and free pivots make a huge difference for them because it's just like, okay, well now I pivot and I move 2 inches means pretty much always going to get the majority of the unit within engagement range to actually fight you, which is really really nice. Yeah, Blood Legion is solid. I haven't lost a game of 11th edition in a minute on the tabletop, and that was like, oh yeah, I don't I don't have enough to deal with all of this stuff. So yeah, really really interesting. Um, yeah,
I think
I see why people like it.
yeah, I agree, and I think demons are getting to, like, as a whole, are getting to a really good spot. I saw changes to scintillating, but it's scintillating's not going to do what it did anymore. They caught some nerfs on this one, so
Yeah. Yeah. The puppeteer going to you select a unit that is visible to another friendly unit, and that you get +9 detection range for your model that has the Infernal Puppeteer enhancement. So basically, it goes to 24-inch. Like if they're hidden, you still can shoot them from 24 inches away. The problem is you still have to draw line of sight. This does. I know some people had kind of been like, oh, I can just not run Bellicor because there's terrain everywhere, so I can just throw a wing out here or a wing out there to draw some lines. This is making it to where if you're looking at scintillating, you're probably wanting to have Bellicor in the list for sure now instead of being on the fence. Because you're going to want to maintain that lone up if you're going to be sniping out around the corners with birds for these. So,
absolutely. There's the addition's still just as killy, and if they catch a line on a bird wing, that bird is going to die very quickly.
yeah. Yeah. Other changes to demons, I think we're talking about demonic incursion. It's no longer you just go back into reserves and get to stay there as long as you want. It has to come right back down in your
Yeah.
next movement phase, which is less good. Um, yeah.
I think it's still useful, but it's definitely a pretty big hit. Just because you used to be able to be like, "I'll see you on turn 5" with something that you forgot about, and now it's no longer that.
Yeah.
All right, Lane. Next winner or loser?
Oh snap! Um, let's see.
I
Winner,
got an easy
winner.
one. I got an easy
Well,
winner.
you do one.
You ready for this?
It's gonna be Imperial Agents.
It's Imperial
I
Agents.
knew
Knew
it.
it.
I knew it.
Look at this. So much green. All the detachments went down. They're like, oh yeah, we forgot that you need like the most help in the game, and we probably need to give you access to more than just 3 DP detachments. What are we doing? And then just points drops across the board for all of their units, which are all of everyone else's units realistically. But it's good to see some green. It's good to see the the detachments go down. Um, it's good to see the dispositions changed to getting taken hold and recon and Imperialis fleet, which is really nice for those that actually enjoy. Um, a little bit of variety, a little bit of spice in their life. Imperial's fleet on recon is very nice to have. So yeah, I like this a lot. I think Imperial Agents players. I'm not going to say like you're going to be winning any GTS anytime soon, but you actually have a playable start to the edition, which is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have one that's kind of a side grade. I'm not sure if it's good or bad because there's some good, and then there's some weird stuff, and we'll have to let time tell. Grey Knights. Grey
Ooh.
Knights. Grey Knights getting to pick up turn 1. They clarified that. Pretty good. But They're what's the detachment for the paladins? It's Argent. Yeah, I'm looking
Argent
for it.
Assault.
Yeah, Argent Assault. That lost Purge the Foe, and it went to
It did.
priority assets, and it was good in Purge the Foe. So the list is going to have to change for priority assets, and I don't know how it's going to do that. I mean, with the up down, it's going to be fine, but most of what they're going to be wanting to do is kill with the Argent Assault, because the paladins, that's all they really want to do. I mean, who wants to do actions or sit on an objective with paladins? Um, so I think we're going to have to find some cheap little units that can go do a couple actions while all the paladins go off and crusading again.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I would say we have another definitive loser, and that's another T. That's the old Tau Empire. They definitively took some hits. They lost Montcalm being purged. It also went to priority assets, which I think makes it more interesting, right? You can't just be it's and I think that's the really interesting thing of when you give detachments the just sheer ability to be excessively lethal. It's better to have them have to play dispositions that still require them to play a balanced game for other reasons, right? So I think that is very interesting. Some people are like, well, that's not what I'm trying to do, and it's like, well, I mean, that sucks, but like the point is to try to make a balanced game, right? So I think it's fair. Priority assets I think feels just fine. And then they just took plenty of hits. Twin Lance up 15, Storm Lance up 15, Riptides 10, Pathfinders up, Hammerheads up, Ghost Keels up. They just broadsides up. They definitely took some points hits, but it's more of the now they're going to have to pay the tax of having more units to kind of play a normal game and not just say I'm Mon Katao, I'm going to run across the board and just kill you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And the other significant change here is Ret Cadre now is at 3 DP. It used to be 2. It used to be it used to be runner up, if not like just like a side grade for, hey, you just took Ret Cadre with 1 DP, whatever. Um, and now probably experimental prototype. And now you have a still very, very good Tau detachment that is at the same level of Monka. Kind of does a couple of different things. I like the Crisis Suit bricks and the reactionary move after you shoot. But now that it's 3 DP, I think it is a lot more balanced. So what makes me feel good for teams and singles, teams specifically, is Tau doesn't feel like it's have to put it in there. Like it doesn't have to find its way into an 8-man teams. Um, you can definitely play without it, but it's still very, very good to have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Tau. Yeah. Oh, what is it? Almost every team tournament we've gone to, almost every team is like, we need a Tau player. Tau has to be on here, and
Yeah.
now I think a few things are going to shift. I like the landscape shifting right now, especially like there's been a little like back and forth, some winners, some losers. But I think this data slate is going to shake things up in meta wise a little better than just the new points coming out for the new edition. I really like what they're doing, and they're paying attention to the overpowered DPS, where some of them that were like definitely shouldn't be two are getting moved up, and then they're switching around the dispositions, which I love that GW's paying attention.
Yeah, it's nice to see. Phil, why don't you talk to us about some of the love either of your nasty ass Xenos factions got?
Okay, let's talk about Gene Stealer Cult because they were real good. They were good before. I was confident that I could win a GT with them previously, and now I'm like, I could really do it now. So we went down in points for a lot of our stuff. So at the beginning of the edition, they went after us. They were like, Gene Stealer Cult is going to be too strong. You know, they have the uppy down mechanic. They have a lot of recursion. They have ways to play the game longer, and they're not wrong. Like, we play recon disruption probably better than any army in the game that isn't like, you could sell me on guard, maybe. Eldar play it pretty good. Eldar play recon and disruption halfway decent. But we are one of the armies that if you're talking about, hey, I need recon, I need disruption, like, you should be looking at GSE for sure. So we went down in a bunch of points. Our Jackals went down. Our Hand Flamers went down. Aberrants went down. Neophytes went down. PSGs, Pure Strain G-Seers went down. All those things, fantastic. Reductus Saboteur went up. Sure, that's fair. I usually took 2 of them. So, my third unit costs 80. Yeah, I think that's, you got me there. That's reasonable. Because I just went to a GT and I took 3 of them. So, like, it seems solid. But, like, overall, pretty much everything went down. But the real sauce, the actual real sauce, is Xenocult Masses has gotten changed to Reconnaissance, which means that's a 1 DP detachment, which means now I have access to Reconnaissance with everything else that I wanted to do. The main one being Final Day. So previously, I had to take Final Day with, like, Pure Strain, which means, like, I'm playing priority assets. I'm not playing Purge. Absolutely freaking not. So that's really not that great. And then previously, Xenocult was Disruption. And not to say that that's bad. It's, if I had to, I would. But we have heroes to do that. But Final Day, now getting access to Recon through Xenocult, is insane. It's so good because Recon is one of the ones that we do the best. So overall, points changes going down, Xenocult getting Recon, and your boy he's praising the forearm gods. He is very happy with all of this.
I'm so, like, any day that GSC gets buffed, is kind of a bad day for me. I mean, I hate playing against a 2,200 point army because of recursion. Now it's 2,300 points because of recursion. Come on, man.
It's not me. GW did it. GW
Yeah,
did it.
I know. I'm just like, oh, here we go.
Yeah. So Marines themselves took a hit, but Ryan, why don't you enlighten us to how your furry boys have done? They themselves got a little love despite the rest of the Space Marines taking the hits.
Yeah, I really like that. Ragnar went down. Aryak went down. I think Logan or one of the other named characters went down, and they were all staples, and everyone was bringing them. So now we're gonna get more Space Wolves on the board. If we can bring it up, let me double check. Oh, Iron Priest went down. I mean, that's cool. Niall went down. Wolfguard Terminators went up for 10. But they kind of needed it. They're crazy. Wolf Scouts went down. Yeah, I mean, I really, really like it. I mean, the Universal Aggressor went down. I haven't personally played any Space Wolves again in 11th, but I played against it in one game, and those Terminators are really tanky. And then now they have access to an enhancement to make them T6, and they're still -1 to wound if your strength is over. T6 is such a break point. Yeah. It's crazy. I think we're going to be seeing some wolves on boards here soon. I think they're coming into the meta now. They were really kind of only the diehards were really playing them, and I mean, yeah, they're gonna come back a little bit.
So, Ryan, did you see the list at Tacoma? The Space Wolves list that
I did 30 Terminators. I did with Aryak and Logan. Yeah. Oh, Logan went down. Yep, I was right. Logan went down. Yeah, that list. I think the changes though kind of even themselves out with the Terminators going
they do
up.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I don't think that list is really going anywhere. I mean, 2 of them have the T6 enhancement. it's just going to be really tough to shift. It's going to be they don't have to kill you. It's just going to take you 5 turns to kill their army, and they're just going to keep scoring the whole way. It's going to be really, really tough.
Yeah, I was doing the math after I saw that list. I was like, what armies could realistically pick up a full brick? There are not many.
No. And
it's kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Well, you guys definitively made out better than the Ultramarines, who, despite every single Ultramarine specific unit except for Tigerius, went up in points. Every single one of them went up by at least 10. Titus, Cato, Marnius, Gilliman, Ventress, they all took a hit. So did the Wardens and the Victrix. All got hit. Is that going to be enough, Phil? You've played some vanilla Marines. Is that going to be enough to make them not the best option? Or do you think it's still too strong to have a reactive move 6 unit with Marnius Calgar and 3 Victrix Guard that people cannot for the life of them deal with?
No, it's still going to be good. It's still going to be good. It doesn't matter. You have too many options. It's just too good. The only downside for Space Marines right now is they don't necessarily have the durability that like 30 Wolfguard Terminators have. There's nothing in generic Space Marines that is like at that level of durability. Thank freaking goodness, right? We don't need that again. But they have what I would consider the best attachments in the game. Between Ceramite, between Gladius Task Force, between Blades, Librarius Conclave is still like for 1 DP, absolutely insane because it jacks up everything else. There is a couple downsides here. Hammer of Averni got pushed to Purge. I don't like that. I really liked Hammer of Averni. It does lead to that Terminator attachment. We saw it when Ben Neal won the Green Banner with it, and now this beginning of 11th edition, I think we had a potential to see a lot more. I think that potential is now gone. Now, if you want to run a bunch of Terminators, I would definitely go the Wolfguard route and just run them as Wolfguard Terminators because they're obviously very, very good. But no, there's too many. Like, look at me just scrolling. Look at all the options here. There is a 0% chance that there's nothing in here that can't go after the top of the meta, even in just the generic Space Marine stuff. And I still think if you wanted to run Ultramarines, you still run Ultramarines. You want to run Marnius, you still run Marnius. He's insane. For 15 points, you absolutely take that. 1 CP, advance in charge, fall back in charge. You take them in Blades, and you have 3 of the same, whatever it's called. Why can't I remember the name of it? Somebody help me in chat. I can't think of the name where you declare you get advance and shoot, advance in charge, or
Gladius or Doctrines.
What was it? Doctrines.
Gladius.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Jesus
Doctrines.
Christ.
I was
my
like,
God.
Oh yeah, chat got it. Doctrines. Yeah, I was like, what are we?
We were unreasonably priced for what we did. We are exceptionally lethal into the game, and we have one of the best strats in the game that isn't actually a strat, which is point at a unit. I don't have to pay anything for it. I get full rerolls to hit and +1 to wound. That's not a strat, but it pretty much is. But it affects my whole army, and doesn't matter if I'm battle shocked or not. I just get full up rerolls, and I get +1 to wound. Whatever I point at can just die. That is insane.
Yeah, some armies have to pay CP for just rerolls to hit, or just +1 to wound. You guys get it, yeah, on 1 unit, and you just get it for every unit that targets that. Space Marines, they're always generally fine. It's like 300. It's almost like, and I'm going to date myself a little bit, like getting cable TV, and you're like, there's 500 channels and nothing on. I don't believe that. Like, there's something. There's something there.
There is. If you want to run Space Marines still, you still have, I would say, so the ones that stand out to me, like Ceramite is still very good. Obviously, I already talked about Gladius and Blades, those are still insane. Bastion, I think, has an incredible amount of value. Librarius Conclave is probably one of the best 1DPs in the game. Forge Fathers is very nice. It going to priority really has no effect on Space Marines because the one army that does priority the best is Space Marines. It's like their army was built to do that. Mainly because they have one character called the Combat Weapon Lieutenant who's pretty freaking good at going out and pushing a button. So, yeah, all those things just tell me that Space Marines are going to be just fine. They're just not going to be like pile driving the meta right now. Like we're okay. We'll be a little safer, but they still have great units. Like it's fine. You'll be all right. You know who else got insane? Ryan, Lane, Dark Angels.
Yeah.
Not just for the points, right? Like, they went down in pretty much everything for all their inner circle. Lion went down for some reason. Ravenwing Command Squad went down. Semi-L went down. All those things are fantastic, right? There's a problem now. Is you can now attach Semi-L and the Command Squad to a unit of Outriders.
I haven't seen Samael since 7th edition, and we're about to see him. That man he's a bad man.
They were already good before. I liked them at the beginning of 11th edition. Lane, what are your thoughts here? Are you afraid of the Plasma Boys, the Raven Wing, the first company?
Not in particular. I think they're still good. It's nice to see that they've gone up. One of the things we've talked about that like you could get with Cavalcade is with those Blood Crushers getting 3-inch engagement range. That's one of the things where I think the bigger you take some of these bike units, the harder it is. And then the other problem is a lot of these bikes are just like one damage weapons. Like they still don't have a ton of melee output as much as you'd like to see. I think the Outriders have like +1 damage on the charge, I think it is, which does help with that a little bit. But they're still just fairly glassy and have just such a large footprint. And I think it really depends on the build you're going for, but you have to be very metered because while there is more aggressive staging, there is less large staging. I think in 11th edition, it's harder to really. There's no layout one. I put fucking 500,000 points of my army right behind a center ruin and said, "Well, you better get ready because I'm coming." Like that's a lot harder to pull off, especially for things that aren't all infantry to abuse the hidden rule. So I think it's nice to see for them. I think they've definitely gotten better. I don't think I'm still on the fence of like, is it enough to make that a dominant way to play Space Marines or even Dark Angels themselves?
I think they have gotten better. I think they're significantly better. I like the speeders already. I think that Semi-L unit is very, very gross. They
The
got
Dark Shroud.
the inner circle got a slight upgrade where they got stealth and they got -1 to hit in melee, which is like a very nice buff for them. It makes them a lot more durable. Lion getting mobile, huge as well. Obviously, it was something that we expected for all the Primarchs to be able to bust through walls. And then they did fix this for, if I remember correctly. Yep. So Lion got fixed so he can go to first turn, which is something that we've seen across the board, as you discussed in the beginning. I am very high on them. I just like mobility. And Lane and Ryan, we have talked about this multiple times. Like mobility is a huge part of 40K. Like fast armies are often like insulated from a lot of change because they have that mobility to kind of play the game. And I like them a lot. And like it, I think it's very good. Samael gives his unit mobile.
That's good. Yeah,
I think it's very good.
Yeah, I think especially the Semi-L unit. Like I'm not saying that that's a bad unit. I think it is very good, but I don't think we're going to be seeing bike spam in singles performing immensely. In teams, I think it's still very gross.
Do you know one Dark Angels player that might be excited to run his bikes again?
Yeah, I think old James from Montana might be looking to do some dirty things with his bikes. But he's also one of the people I've talked to that as well. It was like bikes still they don't feel as good as we were hoping going into this edition. So we'll see.
There might be something there. The Dark Shroud giving stealth. I mean, was it Company Hunters is still a thing, right? And you can rapid ingress a bike squad. I think the power is going to change, but I think there might be something there or some sort of build, but it might have to be a hybrid and not like just a whole like three giant bricks of bikes as your backbone. But I don't know. It seems interesting. I'd love to keep an eye out on Dark Angels and see what they're doing, because this seems very, very, very interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the comments section real quick. Guys, we really appreciate all y'all tuning in, discussing with us about the changes. Bo Bongler says Final Day with Xenocult is dope. You're absolutely right. Aaron says, why did the Rupture Cannon Terrain effects go to AP1? Well, I can't give you a good answer for that. I wasn't necessarily scared of Rupture or Terrain effects previously. I think it's fine. I think Tyranids are in a great spot right now at the beginning of 11th edition. We should be very happy. Hippo, you've asked CSM thoughts. Two people, Revenation as well, CSM thoughts. How do we pivot to disruption? Feels like we got old Yeller.
Yeah, at the beginning of the stream, I kind of talked about that.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
There is one thing that I think everyone can rely on. When I say like the 40K is cyclical, yes, we went up. CSM went up a bunch of points, and if it makes you feel any better, we will bring Trey on. We'll bring Johnny on, two of the best CSM players in the country, to talk about kind of where we need to pivot from here. But I'm just going to give my initial thoughts in terms of where I think every CSM player should be running right now. It's Nightmare Hunt. I think as a 2 DP detachment, I think it's got so much sauce. The battle shocks built in, which are incredibly beneficial to this edition. If I'm going to run Disruption, I want Nightmare Hunt as it. I want units of Warp Talons. I want units of Jump Packs. I want all of the pieces to play an army like that. So like Red Corsairs are still good in there. We still like our units of Possess. Nemesis Claw is still very, very good. You still have to have some lethality in there, but like Legionnaires with the Chaos Lords still rip. They do so much freaking damage. So like that plus the +1 to wound that you can get in Nightmare Hunt, plus the full rerolls, like I am very, very high on them. Chaos Terminators went down as well. So if you were looking at running them, those are some of the units. But honestly, I'd be running to Nightmare Hunt. That's what I would be playing if I was a CSM player and I wanted to play Disruption, because I think they could play it. I know they could play it exceptionally well.
Yeah, I agree. And if you were watching, as soon as you mentioned Nightmare Hunt, I was like, yeah, I've been looking at it too. Like, this looks good. I don't know why nobody's playing it.
Yeah,
people like running Defilers, and people like running Abaddon and Vastor, and he doesn't really mix in there. So
when but like when people get into kind of a set play pattern and then point jumbles and like this happen, and everyone's like, oh, I don't know what to do. There's still some things out there that again, 500 channels and nothing's on. I think there's still something here.
Yeah, I think honestly, this kind of feels like they almost got the like delayed guard treatment a little bit, and I don't think it's as severe either for the community. I don't think the community is panicking as much about CSM as the guard community has panicked. But yeah, like it's just a definitive shift in what is, what are you actually looking to play in your list, and I think that's going to be one of the things that it's a new edition. You're going to have to make adjustments. And it's going to take some time, but I think 3 months from now, especially, we're all going to be like, oh yeah, like every army feels pretty good. Yeah.
I'm to like continue on the CSM. The Veterans of the Long War might take that Terminator drop in points. Quite nice.
Yes. And GW, I think, likes Terminators. I think in general, they like their aesthetic. They like them on the board. They are an interesting unit. And each Terminator does something like different, right? Like you got the CSM Terminators with combi weapons, full rerolls, and full rerolls to wound with the dev wounds. Sure, that's nice. You have the Wolfguard Terminators that are very durable. They, but you can give them advancing charge, and they are quite fast overall. My Deathwatch Terminators, I really like. I'm very high on them. So like each one, I think does something a little bit different overall. So CSM, you're fine. You're okay.
All right.
Yes, well, you have to play Disruption, but as someone who has played Disruption or Recon pretty much every game this edition, because for teams, those are the ones that are left. It's okay. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. All right. Another comment. Give us the Votan takes 54% win rate pre-slate. Well, your points went down. So, yep, there you go. Only getting better. Barrick went down. The only thing that I hit was like the Sagittar, I think, went up a little bit for some reason. Like, okay.
Was it 5 points?
Well, it's 10 only on your
10,
fourth unit.
Yeah, like
sure.
It's not a
I
thing.
was only seeing 3 in a list, so like, okay.
But they're aware. All right, they're looking out. Okay.
And the Capricus went down for what? How many? 1?
The first 1 through 3
yeah,
went down. Yeah.
Okay, like sure.
Yeah.
I was never seeing more than 3 in a list anyway. I saw 2.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, at very most.
Yeah. So
yeah.
It's fine. We're gonna hear the pitter patter of dwarf feet across the kitchen floors here soon.
Yeah. No, I think Votan are solid, and in fact, not only do they get the points buffs, but in general, a lot of those top things coming down. I think they're benefiting more from just kind of a slight buff, but mostly just staying where they're at, because I think a lot of the other things didn't really get buffed past them, right?
Yeah.
Like I think they're still in a very, very solid spot.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see an army like that because it's like I thought they were incredible at the beginning of the edition because of one thing and one thing alone is you had to stand on objectives now to do the things that you wanted to do. And those objectives are now terrain pieces. So all the buffs that they got for you standing on objectives, now you can no longer hide from them behind terrain, behind profiles. You are going to be exposed for them to get their buffs. And now you're just telling me like that the thing that they already wanted to do has just gotten better. Hearthguard are still insane. Like 6-inch deep strike Hearthguard 10-man, they kill God. Like literal
Bullet
gods.
hoses.
Necron gods will just get ripped down because a 10-man Hearthguard deep strikes 6 inches away. It just shoots and kills it. So yeah, we should see that win rate continue to climb.
Those Hearthguard are the new leaf blowers, man. Being the receiving end of 20 of them, I'm like, ugh.
Brutal. All right. We also have. Please give me some hope for Necrons. Yeah, we can talk about some Necrons. Got some hits. Mostly in rules changes, to be honest,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But in general, I think that's the biggest things. The Reanimator went up 5. Doomsday Arcs are up 10. The big units of Locust Destroyers, both heavy and regular, also went up in points for the maxed out units. And then the Necrosar up 10. Scorpec Lord went up for the 3rd model, which is whatever. Test Rock Vaults, that's the thing that's really killing you. Let's be honest. And then Pantheon of Woe going to Disruption instead of Purge. Those are the 2 things right there that are holding Necrons back, are those 2 changes. What are Necrons players going to do if they cannot play Pantheon in Purge? Yeah, it's just cursed. No, I think I think there's still some stuff to look at for sure. I think we talked during our last stream a little bit of a mix of like Cursed Legion and I believe it was Hand of the Dynasty, if I'm not mistaken, as a combination for somebody who was still trying to play Take and Hold for teams. Um, yeah, and I think that's still just the advice I would kind of give. I think a build like that um, is probably still the best. I think the auto advancing 6 Lich Guard that can advance and charge is pretty spicy. Even if the third Scorpec Lord went up, who cares? Like you can play a very defensive style game and still take Oricon with 20 warriors and be like, come chew through it. I dare you. Um, yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, take and hold feels very good, even if you're playing defensive. And I mean, I was playing against a friend of the channel, Will, and Grey Knight player, real good guy. Um, and he was playing his Grey Knights, and I had to play more defensive because he was just staying out of my charge ranges, and it still felt fine. I was holding the objectives. Hidden helps so much. Just play around your hidden and your go to ground rule, and I think it'll pull off, especially when you're taking casualties and you just start regenerating your casualties with hidden and go to ground. I think you're in a very good spot, especially with take and hold.
Yeah. I think the one thing you need to realize, Jacob, is like Necrons were at the top. They were competing at the top of the meta and consistently performing incredibly well. Yes, we have seen them get knocked down slightly, and like them and T-Suns probably got hit the most. And I would say Orcs are a little late to the party here because they probably deserve to be in the same boat of changes. But I think we haven't seen, like, I would say the rules adaptations for them, like we didn't see their dominance until a little bit later. We really saw Necrons and T-Suns at the beginning. So I would caution like hesitancy, because even if, which I don't think this is the case, even if Necrons become C tier or D tier, which they are nowhere even close to, um, it's going to be 30 days and we're going to see a change come back. So you should be very happy with the fact that GW is looking to aggressively balance in this first part of the edition, and we will be okay. Because, be honest, like they were pretty busted. Like the reanimation of characters plus the reanimation of like these units reattaching to units and then reanimating them, so you're getting wraiths back or warriors back, whatever. That was very, very difficult for some armies to deal with. So the points changes, I think relatively reasonable, and on a lot of units that not everyone uses. Like there are some of these units that, obviously Tesseract Vault being the big one, are just like things that people, not everybody uses. Silent King as well. He is a great, super cool, iconic unit. He is not even close to auto included in every list. Yes, his Necros are really nice because he's kind of a beat stick, absolutely. But once again, you're talking about one, maybe two units in a lot of these lists that you're going to have access to or you're going to use. So your points really didn't get changed that much. Your dispos didn't get changed at all except for one, and your detachments are at the point of now balance, I would say. So it'll be okay. Yes, you did get knocked down. There is some potential deservedness to that because of how strong you were. But now you are still very, very, very good. Okay. There's one other army that I wanted to talk about. I'm very high on them, and I think they're very good. Let's talk about a little bit of AdMech. So I'm seeing a lot of green here, guys, which is kind of concerning because at the beginning of this edition, I went to ATC and I played into a very good AdMech player. I'm still raving about that game because I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of green here across the board. I did get a disposition change to Halo's Creed, which it went to priority assets, which is interesting as well. But overall, points went down. Meta came down. They're already a good army that plays the dispositions well. And the only difference is now Iron Striders are 10 points more on the third model. of a unit. So like you take 2 Iron Striders, which is what I think you actually do. I don't think you take the third one.
Yeah.
You just take 2. And you go 2 by 2 or even 3 by 2. And then everything else went down in points. Seems pretty freaking good. Skitarii going down, fantastic battle line unit.
Cataphrons.
Cataphrons going down, really like that. Raiders are a great trade piece. Also went down in points for a 6-man, which let's see, you probably don't take as much, but I'm very high on AdMech, and I think they're going to be very good at the start of this edition.
Yeah, I'm really terrified of that robot unit they have. If you go all the phosphor blasters, because most people are running Flamer Fist, I think the phosphor blasters are the way to go. I mean, you have 18 shots at 6-1-1 ignore cover twin linked, and then you have another 18 shots not twin linked but still the same profile. It's a lot of shots, and then you get all your buffs from standing near your like +1 to hit, standing near your battle line. I think, and they're just going to be bullet hoses, especially with cataphrons and all your rangers and your infiltrators just clogging up the front of the board. It's going to be really. I think AdMech are coming back. We're going to see them a lot.
Yeah, they're solid. They're everything I wish I was. No, it's I'm they are very interesting. The army I thought you couldn't not talk about, Phil, was your dirty elves. They got a ton of points drops as well. So I think it's worth taking a look at the old Eldari, because I think that might be something that we also see pick up in play a lot more.
Yeah,
this is what I thought you were gonna. I apologize. I was gonna say this is what I thought you were gonna pick for your number 1 spot.
No, it was always gonna be Death Watch. Just because we have so very little, so I wasn't gonna see many points changes, but like I will play elves. I have them on my desk. I am in the process of. I have over 2,000 points now built and painted, so we're pretty much ready to go. And I have a few lists that I think I really like. But across the board, seeing all of these drops is very encouraging for me, and I think for Eldar players everywhere, because it's like, did we need to go down? I genuinely don't believe so. I think there's a lot of play in a lot of our stuff into the dispositions that we really want to take, but if you're going to give me points drops, I will take points drops 100%. Farseer's going down. Avatar, which has become weirdly enough a staple in some of these Seer Council lists, which is really interesting. Autarch's going down. Shining Spear's going down. Shroud Runner's going down. Like Swooping Hawk's going down. I love Swooping Hawks. I think they're in every Seer Council list. They're in Aspect Host list. They're so good. Warwalkers, I really, really like. I don't know if I like them in a 2-man where you would get the discount, but is what it is. I don't know why they drop points on Warp Spiders, the one unit that's auto include in every freaking Eldar list. Like, there's not an Eldar list that Lycus and 5 Warp Spiders are not going into, and you gave me a 10-point discount. So it seems pretty good. Seems pretty good. Some Harlequins got some points drops as well, which is nice to see. I know for our 10 Harlequin players in the world that really enjoy them, they are very interesting. And then overall, we have pretty much everything the same except for Eldritch Raiders got moved to Purge, and then Warhost got moved to Recon. Now, I think Purge is a trap in its entirety. There's very few armies that can actually play Purge consistently because they just have too many activations. And I think Eldar are one of those. They really, really want multiple activations of units. We are not necessarily the most durable. We die very, very quickly. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. But Warhost going to Recon as a 3DP is very, very interesting for me. And I just, the points drops are insane. They're so good. It brings them back up to, and I already thought they were high. I think it brings them back up for me.
Yeah, no, I think that's very fair. I think we're gonna see a lot more play when elves get cheap, things get bad. So if they get any more points decreases, it's gonna be a scary world out there. Yeah, too many shenanigans for an army that has a ton of infantry that can benefit from hidden, in my opinion. But let's talk about another speedy army that got a lot of disposition changes, especially to their top two ways of play, but got some points buffs. The old Emperor's Children. Uh, the Defiler went up, but for the most part, a lot of their other units just came down in points. Fulgrim's down 10, Lucius down 10, Mauler Fiend down 10, and a Sorcerer down 5. Like, I don't hate that. I feel like they've been doing pretty good.
Mm,
Um, I think they're paying basically a similar tax though of like that Montka had to pay of like, well, you can't just go into purge with a very killy army. So now coterie is priority assets. A lot of people had switched to Carnival, which is still 2 DP, so you can find ways to play something that's not disruption, which is nice, but no purge, no purge for Carnival.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the option is then, because it's like, I think Carnival is still nice. I don't know what the one DP is that you potentially take. Is it take and hold? It doesn't feel like take and hold. Like, I don't know if they're durable enough to do that. But they could just still play the same game plan of like try to obliterate your opponent and wipe them off the board, and then they score take and hold no matter what. So uh I don't know
Yep.
if it's the end of the world for them. I think they're just fine. Um, I will have to talk to Frankie and Trey and those guys and see what they think of Emperor's Children as a whole. But theirs was the best defiler now in 11th edition. I think everyone would agree with that in Carnival. Um, so them going up points incrementally um, is probably fair, very very fair.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right.
I
Let's
got
talk
one for
about.
you.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you see that Custodes Wardens went down? Pretty nice.
Love to see it. That's always my favorite thing is 15 warden
Atari.
spam.
That Atari went down. Pretty nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
And for
The
some for
might
some
of
reason they thought it
Morotai.
was a hit. Yeah, and Might of the Morotai got moved from Purge to Take and Hold. They thought that was ooh, we gotcha. We really showed you. Now you can't do Purge the Foe with it. I'm pretty okay with Take and Hold.
Yeah, I think like while you could be aggressive with it, if you played into something that had just a lot of like trade down things, it still just didn't feel great as a custodes player to have to be playing might with purge and those all those armory units.
Yeah, now I can split my Terminators in Lions without being concerned about giving up multiple. I could just do it and still score and not have to worry about you getting kill more than me if that's what the mission relies on. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm pretty happy with Might of the Moritai switching over. It doesn't really bother me. Custodian Wardens going down, sign me up every day of the week. I love it. And then, I mean, Alea, she's not someone I think about realistically. I don't necessarily love the sisters component of Custodes outside of like a really support focused unit that can do a lot with activations and trade early, which is nice. The Feel No Pain is decent. Um, but I think Custodes just are fine, if not got better, because the rest of the edition came down behind it.
Yep. Yeah, they got to hold where they were at and take a small buff because who does not love cheaper 4 up, 4 up, 4 up, you know, or 2 up, 4 up, 4 up, I should say. Um, yeah. Yeah, no, Custo's doing really well. Before we move on to our next topic, though, please hit that like button if you have not already and subscribe if you are a new viewer. That really does help us out. We got to be better about shouting that out and reminding you guys before the end of the video when you've already decided to go watch whatever else you've got lined up. What else we got though? What's our next topic of discussion?
I think it's perfectly fair to talk about guard because apparently they're trash.
Yes, they are. They are
They're
just absolute buns. Yeah.
A
No,
tier. What?
Yep. So we talked at some length about guard and what is different. For some reason, how much are 10 orc boys, Ryan?
10?
Yeah.
I think they're 75 points.
Okay, well, that's how much 10 guardsmen are. And 10 guardsmen ain't worth fuck. So we're still waiting to see that come down a little bit. I think that's like my biggest thing that is still like, I don't understand this. But in general, the real problem is the play style for guard changed immensely, and figuring out how to either just not play around cover for an army that is mostly shooting is very difficult, or then trying to find the best, most efficient ways to include those resources into your lists. Um, I've had a little bit more time since I got done having to run that tournament a couple weeks ago to really start doing some list building and playing a little more. And there's some things that I don't want to ramble too much and get into it. But there's some things that I'm really looking forward to trying. I don't know if any of you have looked at mechanized, but if you get out 6 Ogren and spend 1 CP for full hit and wound rerolls, when you can also get out a commissar to give them +1 to hit, they can do like 24 damage to a knight. It's disgusting. So it does require you to take a doom hammer or one. I can't remember what the exact big boys are, but I don't know if you know this. Those got cheaper.
They
So
did.
I don't hate that tech. There's also you can just run the Ogren Bang Bus and put it in Grizzled. Put it in Grizzled. Use one of them that has Firing Deck 12. It'll have reroll ones to hit. You're gonna have 2 units of Ogren inside of the Bang Bus. You can either give yourself Ignores cover if it's a small target, or you give yourself lethal hits. If you can get within the 9 inches, you have 72 shots at 512. Not including the rest. That is just off your firing deck. If you get within half range, you have 72 shots at 512. I think there's some sauce there. It's all oddly mostly transport based. That's really good. And then my new favorite anti tank piece is the budget. It's just 6 las cannons. You just put 2 heavy weapons teams into the centaur because it is open topped and has firing deck 12 as well, so you can still shoot all 6 heavy weapons. And so 6 las cannons out of the top of one of those is not too bad. In mechanized, you can give a tech priest enhancement for reroll all hits. He'll just give it to something at the start of the shooting phase and just be like, cool, 6 reroll hits las cannons, please. I don't know. I think there's more sauce. I need to figure it out. I think the nice thing that we got, the biggest buff that I think is interesting, is it at least gives you a reason to play combined on the same level as Grizzled, and that is that combined is now 2 detachment points, which is pretty spicy. In teams, you actually don't pair it with Abhuman. I think you could make a disgusting list that is with the Scions, and then your Scions are just hitting better. You drop in and they just have lethals, +1 strength, +1 AP access in that, and you can absolutely dumpster things that are not monsters and vehicles with lethal hits. I think that's pretty spicy. But the nice thing is in combined, you stop playing with Dorns as much. You can play with Lehman Russ battle tanks for rerolls. You still take some exterminators. Yeah, I think there's a fair amount of sauce.
I'm not looking forward to the return of the Bridgehead. Oh man. Oh.
I think Ryan's adage holds true here. There is too many data sheets in guard for it not to be good. It will be fine. Now, Lane said it. Scions also went down in points. and now you gave them access to something better. Combined going down with the day, I finally thought Lane was going to play something that wasn't combined. I thought there's still a world where he doesn't play combined, but obviously, like, there's a reason that detachment is good. It's because it's efficient, because it has tools into everything. It allows you to punch up, it allows you to punch down. It's just really, really solid. So, like, overall, honestly, guard got a glow up, guard got better. They were fine. They can play the game combined with taking hold. Could be exactly where they want to be with big squads of Bulgrin. Yes, you could take them with Abhuman, and you could have big units of Bulgrin that you can order and +1 OC, and now you're like never getting objectives taken off you, and you're still running, Leman Russ commanders. You can still run Scions. They're just good on their own, and they're cheaper, and they just drop down and murder something. So, like, I'll be honest, this is still terrifying. This is still very, very good. I don't know if I'm ready for Titanic vehicles yet in 11th edition. I don't know if I want to see the meta of Bane Blades and Bane Hammers and all the Bane tanks. So yeah, I'm curious. But yes, Guard just got straight up better.
And this is another thing, real quick,
Yeah.
before we move on. Start looking at the allies. There's actually a ton of benefits from either agents or even some of the knights. Like having something that can go out and shoot, who is going to just get towering and shoot really well. And if you take Canis once per game, you can unbattle shock something. Like there is a ton of value in that can flip objectives and stuff for a guard army that's gonna, if you're forcing me to take battle shocks, I think that's very useful. And then on the other side, Hellhounds are 125 points. And then you also have to there's other things in the army. Like I still always take a unit of Cadians to sticky my home. If you bring Imperial agents, you can either take Kodiaz, who just picks something within 18 at the start of your turn and says no cover for you, or you can take an Immolator and a unit of Sisters who will combat split. And that's basically those two units are the same price as a Hellhound and a unit of Cadians, and you basically get the same value, except it has one additional unit. So I think there's other ways to just start finding efficiency within our list building that people haven't really been exploring.
Yeah. Really, really interesting. Ryan, let's talk about your Sisters. Kind of gone under the radar. Scott Ketchum took them to Tacoma, finished incredibly well, went 8-1. And obviously Scott is a great Sisters player, so it shows. But we're also seeing points drops across the board here. How do you feel about Sisters after this data slate?
After the data slate, I feel pretty good. I really like the Hospitalier went down. I like the 30 sacks. I love the Sacrosaints. Seraphim's going down. Seraphim going down. I really like the jump packs, and then you shoot like a ton of melta pistols and then back off, or with Bringers of Flame. But I think Bringers of Flame is 3 DP. With the flamethrowers, there's a lot of different ways to play, and I think Seraphim, maybe Zephyrim, might become a need just because Sisters tend to be not a super fast army, and they need to have their buffs near each other, and they need to help each other out. But so if somebody does play the stage and stay back game, you do have interactions. But I don't hate that. I don't hate a lot of their buffs. Their buffs are on a lot of their units that were really interesting to me, and then now they're definitely good. I like the Repentia squad, especially with Purge the Foe axis on what's the detachment called? Scroll down just a smidge there, Phil. Sorry. I can't remember the detachment name. Down. Where is it? The Penitent Host. I like that the Penitent Host got buffs, and it's Purge the Foe now. Which it kind of wants to do that. It just wants to send fast units. I mean, it's almost like a a feel no pain, fast unit, fight on death army. So it's going to try to out trade you. And now that it's cheaper, I'm I'm really liking it. I'm might have to switch to Penitent Host versus my 30 Sacrosaints.
The other thing I think for those that aren't aware is we did get an FAQ on how Miracle Dice work, which is substantial in terms of how sisters work. So it specifically says, to my understanding, at least when I read this, is you have to make the Miracle Dice substitution before any dice are rolled. So if you're going to make, and it's done by grouping. Yep. So like if you're on your 4-up invul in that grouping of saves for that weapon, you have to substitute the dice for the save roll before you roll any of those saves, which is the opposite of what it used to be before. You would roll like one less dice. You would roll it, see what the result would be, and then you could substitute for that last save, the miracle dice to see where you're at. And I think, yes, is it very, very minute in terms of order? Does it have a huge impact? I think absolutely it has a huge impact in terms of how those miracle dice work.
Yeah, with the fast dice rolling, I don't think you're going to see too many substitutions on saves anymore. I think you're going to see it on damage and advances and charges now more. And I mean, not like Sisters players weren't doing that, but I think you're going to see it even more where they're like, okay, this gets a buff in damage and this gets a buff in damage and this, instead of holding him back for one save.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, chat. Throw it at us. Are there any other ones that we want to talk about? Do we need to talk about Chaos Demons? We already talked about them a bunch. We talked about Space Marines. We talked about Eldar, Drakari. Pretty baseline in terms of impacts. The one unit that I thought they would 100% hit was Scourges, and those are untouched.
No. Instead, they hit the Ravager, and they're like, "Don't you fucking dare think about not playing Scourges." Just staring you down. Buy Scourges. It's the only way to play anti-tank. It's your only anti-tank shooting. I don't know what they're doing. It's weird. I think there's some other ones we didn't really talk about because they're mostly just untouched. Like Tyranids, basically nothing happened. Death Guard, basically nothing happened. Slight changes, but nothing of any actual consequence in my opinion. Like it's all pretty minor. I mean, what are you going to do now that 6 Death Shroud is a little bit cheaper? You're still going to take 3 because they're too expensive, and you don't need 3 extra dudes.
They did change the Death Shroud 6-inch deep strike, though. It now says in your movement phase you can't rapid ingress them.
It does say that now, yes, absolutely. Which is the way it should be. Like it should never. Should have
6-inch rapid ingress is crazy.
Yeah. Yes, it's should never have happened. I don't know why they messed up and then doubled down on it, because when we went to ATC, that was the first question we asked. Like, are you sure you want this back? They're like, yeah. You sure,
dude?
Okay, that's fine with me.
Orcs triple leading 20 boys lasted less time than 6-inch rapid on Death Shroud. So they really didn't want orcs to have +1 to charge.
Yeah, Plague Marine 10-mans went down, which I like. Like you actually took Plague Marine 10-mans. I've done dirty things with that, and Champions of Contagion is still very good. So like that with double characters is solid. Mortarion went down. But you're right. No significant changes here besides things that we were already expecting.
Isn't Flyblown Host? You can infiltrate 2 squads of Plague Marines. I think that's going to happen a lot more.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, just Plague Marines are great. They're just a little expensive, and going down 10 points we'll definitely take. Blood Angels, they got the Space Marine treatment, right? All of their Space Marine units that we saw previously are all getting changed, which is fine, because I think they're incredibly solid, and the detachments that they already liked are still very, very good. I think. Yeah.
And Blood Angels tend to stick to their own types of units. Like they sprinkle in a few units here and there from Codex Space Marines, but most of it's like Sangard, Death Company. So I think it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Tau Tactics asking, what about Tau, you fools? We already talked about Tau, John. Be here on time, buddy. But we really actually would love to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah.
We will probably have to have you on at some point to tell us about, how you're going to start playing priority assets with your Mont Ka. Because I don't see you changing anyways. I mean, maybe, I don't. Are you going back to your Oxcat days? We need to know.
I also like the cheeky targeted Tau Tactics Tiger Shark nerf. Oh.
Yeah. no to the Oxcat. Not playing that. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it is nice to not feel the pressure of kind of having to send it in the first 3 turns. Because with Mont Ka, like you lose those buffs in the second half of the game, but if the goal isn't to have to table your opponent and just be super killy, you feel better playing a more balanced game again, similar to 10th.
Tau Tactics says, yeah, it's literally played in 1 practice game and the next day it goes up 50. That means that GW is watching you. They're saying if Tau Tactics is playing this unit, it needs to go up right now before it becomes a problem. That's the only explanation I can think of. It definitely has nothing to do with a very odd, inadvertent test game that probably went awry and someone said, absolutely not, nuke those things, send them into the orbit.
Yeah, they got his house bugged.
Yeah, they got his house bugged. The FBI is in there. But that's the thing. Priority assets. We already said
a great
Space
mission.
do it well. It's just a good mission. It's just balanced 40k. Like the town will be just fine doing it. They're probably gonna see. You know what it actually is gonna be? You're gonna see less differentials in priority assets than you saw on things like Purge the Foe. Like Purge the Foe obviously can very easily ramp up that score because they are so lethal. We're gonna see a shortening of that gap, hopefully. Dread Train says Death Guard got screwed. I don't know if I agree with that, Dread. I think Death Guard is in a very good position. I think they're incredibly solid. I think they have one of the best attachment plus disposition combinations in the game, which is Virulent and Take and Hold. It's like, oh, you want to be on objectives and I don't have to move and I can just play on this triangle power of these 3 objectives and I'll be just fine and I could, Rapid Ingress, Death Shroud Terminators, and then jam Plague Marines and Blade Lord Terminators and all this stuff. Like, that's all the stuff that I want to do with -1 damage, with Mortarion, with a Death Guard Demon Prince. Like, this is really, really solid. So I know there was a little bit of doom and gloom at the beginning of the edition. I think Death Guard, having played them quite a bit, I would put them very easily into the bottom of A tier, middle of the pack kind of road, because I just think they're incredibly solid and lethal.
Yeah, I assume that was joking. Otherwise, you just cannot take the 10 points to Defilers because that's like the only thing that happened to them. So, yeah.
All right. Are there any other ones that we want to discuss? We could talk about Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights. Lane, we lost your audio. Lane, we lost your audio. Can you hear him, Ryan?
I cannot hear him at all. Oh, no.
Well, Ryan, let's talk about some Chaos Knights.
Okay, let's talk about Chaos Knights. It looks like Lane froze.
So, minuscule points went down, but this isn't the actual huge impact for Chaos Knights. It's their disposition changes, unfortunately. So Infernal Ants, one of the main ones that Chaos Knights used, got changed to priority assets, which is not where they want to be. Like, the knights in general just want to be on purge. They probably are okay with taking hold. I've seen some like 12 dog lists that are running recon. You could probably sell me on that, but like Infernal Lance is obviously the one that everyone wants to play, so that getting changed is kind of tough. Lords of Dread getting changed to taking hold, kind of tough. Um, and I didn't see as much love as I expected them to get with their initial lack of success.
Yeah, they're in a tough spot. I mean, the Stalker and the Huntsmans are cool, but like, it's minimal. It's 5 points. It, I don't think this is going to change really much. I think their win rate might go down a little bit because of the disposition changes, but other than that, like, they're still in the same spot. They didn't really change anything.
Lane, any thoughts? Chaos Knights, you played them.
Uh, I didn't play them. I made a list that got like 14th at my event with somebody who had never played them before, doing great. So I don't know what the problem is. No, I think it can definitely be tough. I do think they were one of the factions that didn't need to have the switch in their disposition. Infernal Lance wasn't bullying people with Purge the Foe. Like, it wasn't really that abusive. For people who couldn't kill knights, it was, but that was their issue in list building, not Infernal Lance being too strong. Because it's definitely not like it's. I mean, knights in general are just the stat check. It's not that Infernal Lance was the problem.
Yeah, I agree there. I think I don't know why this happened. Maybe it's because they did it to Imperial Knights and they're like, you know, tr- they sometimes tie those two armies together when they don't really need to be, because Imperial Knights the same way, right? Like Castellan went up, which I guess I get because they were very good. But Freeblade getting changed over to priority really hurts them because they really liked Freeblade. Um, and then now your 1 DP detachment got changed to priority as well. So you have no 1 DP purge. Your only chance to play purge is Valor Strike, which from what I've been told of all the individuals that play Imperial Knights that I know is not the way they want to play purge. They want to play it with Freeblade. They want to play it with potentially Castoris. Like those are better for what they're looking for. So um,
Yeah.
Imperial Knights players are going to have to be a little bit creative.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. A couple last questions on here. Beginner Dude says, before the end, can we get Ryan's advice to players trying to get better or anything that helped him get so good? Aw.
Aw, thank you. Well, just mainly, I would say the main thing is positioning and then also pre-measuring. The two main things that help me get a lot better is those two things. Talking to your opponent, playing by intent, understanding what they are trying to do, and then completely communicate what you are trying to do. Those really help. And there's more like specific uh, or army specific things that you can work on. But again, those are the main things that every player I think can really benefit from.
Yeah, what about you, Lane? You wanna add anything there? Anything that's helped you either become a better player yourself or has helped people around you when you've been teaching the game or playing?
Yeah, just play the game, and it's okay to try stuff. Like, don't feel like, oh, I need to try to win every tournament I go to, right? Like, the goal can just be to get better, right? And be honestly open and honest about your analytics of how did I perform in that. Was it smart to try to activate this into this unit into that unit? Does that make any sense? Actually look back and try to learn from your games. Practice games don't mean anything if you're not actively trying to learn from them. You can play the game to play the game, but if you want to get better, it's like study the tape from like sports and stuff. Like, you have to actually analyze what you were doing wrong, or what you could do better in list building or on the table. Like those are the things that'll actively make you a better player.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing that I did leave out. I forgot to add being open to criticism too. Like your opponent telling you, hey, I think that what you did was a mistake, or you could change this in your list, and being open to feedback instead of like, well, it just didn't work this time, or I guess dice, or just being able to listen and be open.
Yeah, those are all great pieces of advice for anyone that wants to get better at 40K. And that's our goal here. We want to help you get better because competitive 40K can be such an incredible, like, part of this hobby. It can be very daunting, right? Like you're going to a tournament and people care and they're taking it seriously and they want to do well and all of those things, and that's okay. But you can also be a good opponent while you do those things. So I'll add one piece of advice because I think Lane and Ryan did a great job of wrapping all those things up. Um, when I moved from playing collegiate sports to professional sports, whether it be analytics of like that I did for myself, or when I was playing rugby professionally, and then when I played, when I was refereeing, and then when I moved on to coaching, one of the things that I often heard was, players blaming luck or like, oh, it was an unlucky bounce. In England, for some reason, they love saying, oh, unlucky. Like that was their phrase that they like using. And um, one of my favorite shows is Ted Lasso, and he talks about how much he hates the word unlucky because it's not about that. There are multiple decisions that you make leading up to a game where, yes, it may feel like you just failed a whole bunch of, let's say, 4 pinballs, and you lost a unit that you didn't expect to lose. And that can happen, but I guarantee you there are plenty of decisions, if we look at it analytically, that we made to get us to the point where we lost that 4 up in vol unit, um, and did it because we didn't have a good game plan, or we made a mistake or something like that. So looking back at those games analytically, I always, when I first was developing and playing competitive 40K, I took a lot of photos because I wanted to go back through and look at those things, because positioning, as Ryan said, is probably one of the biggest parts of 40K. And if you take photos, you can go back in and look at the decisions that you actually made to determine if, what your memory, which can play tricks on you, of what you actually did in the game. Yeah, so all of those things absolutely can make you a better player. And hopefully you, beginner dude, I know you're in the Discord. Hopefully anyone else that's watching, hop in the Discord. There's plenty of guys that love helping people get better at 40K, because at the end of the day, that's what we care about. We want you to have fun playing a hobby that we all enjoy. And we want you to get across from your opponent and be an exceptional opponent as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, if there's anything else you would like to talk to us about, feel free to jump in the Discord, as Phil said, or hit us up in the comments below. After this is not a live stream, comment on the video. That also helps out the algorithm. Like if you haven't already. We really, really appreciate that. And Ryan, any other general thoughts while we got you on?
Just check out the Turn Zero Tactics. They're a fantastic resource for experienced and new players. But other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to our Wednesday live stream. We're going to have more videos coming out soon. More Turn Zero Tactics. A fun interview with one of the top placers from the Tacoma Super Major, I guess it was technically. So look forward to that. Plenty more to come here for Mastercrafted. And as always, do not forget that victory isn't given, it is forged, and it's forged right here at Mastercrafted. We will see you all next time.